please stand for the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. There is a rose on the table with the diplomas today. This rose is in honor of Alex Starbeck, a member of the graduating class of 2020 who is no longer with us. The class of 2020 asks that you join them in a moment of silence to honor Alex at this time. Thank you. I would like to introduce Doug G., Superintendent, who will be addressing the senior class.
Good afternoon. Wow, this looks different, but what an interesting year. I'd like to welcome everybody here to celebrate the class of 2020 graduation. Send a special thanks or congratulations or happy Father's Day to all you fathers that are either listening or here. Being a father sometimes is challenging, but it's the most rewarding thing that I've ever been able to do, and I'm sure for yourself also. And so graduates, make sure you give your dads a special hug today. It's not always easy being a father, but it is the most rewarding thing. Thanks to all the teachers. I know there's some that are here. Most of them couldn't be here because of our social distancing, but we truly are blessed at Clear Lake with just an outstanding staff that just pulls together, gets things done for our kids, and I can't thank them enough. Thank you to the school board for all their support and guidance as we go through this, and graduation and celebrating it. Thanks to all the parents and family members. And I'd also like to give a special thank you to Mr. Murphy and Mr. Ludwig. And I'm just going to tell you, you seniors, these two did everything in their power to hold out for graduation, to hold out for prom, to try to make this year as absolutely as special as they could. And if you get a chance, before you go on your way, thank them or come back and thank them, because those two really did want to make this year as special as they absolutely could for you guys. They found a way to have prom, along with some very persistent parents, and wanted to make sure that it was special for you guys. Have a parade around the lake, and then have a graduation. And I will tell you, there's a lot of schools out there. In fact, very few schools got to have a prom. And they wanted to make sure you guys did. And they also want to make sure you had a graduation. So again, just a huge special thanks to them. It's been a very special year for a lot of reasons. You might say, special? And I'd say, yeah, special. This year, the biggest thing is I hope that we don't remember this year or this group of kids just for the last 2 years of their senior year. There were so many great things this group accomplished this year and previously. A couple examples, football team going to the state second round in the state playoffs. Girls basketball, second round of the state tournament. Got rid of the jinx of that basketball thing, and I'm sure there's a lot more special moments that were there. The success of the school year is really determined by the leadership of your senior class. And this group did a tremendous job of leading by example. I know some of you will choose to look back at this year only and only remember the way it ended and feel bad for these seniors sitting here. And yes, I wish with all my heart they would not have had to end their senior year the way they did. But the greatest gift God gives us is the power to choose. So we can choose to remember the last 3 months, or we can choose to remember the great things about this group of young men and women. I also know that adversity reveals your true character. And from what I have seen, this group has shown me they have handled this exceptionally. I also believe adversity shapes your character, and I believe these seniors are going to grow from it, and they're going to end up being a great group of young men and women and lead great lives. So congratulations, seniors. You did it. Did you ever think this day would come? You did, right? What about you, parents? Did you ever think this day would get here? Well, I'll make this short because I know you got some seniors coming up here that you probably would rather listen to than me. But I do have I got your undivided attention, or maybe undivided attention. I got a few words of encouragement for you. First, I encourage all of you to find something you love to do. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. You will know when you find it. Second, live each day as if it were your last. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't let others' opinions convince you to do something you don't truly love. Third, dare to dream. Have the courage to follow your own heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become, and everything else is secondary. Last, don't be afraid to fail. Major difference between average people and successful people is their perception and response to failure. The question isn't whether you're going to fail or not. Everyone does. But what sets people apart is their response to failure. Does it keep you from following your dreams or doing what you love? Or does it make you even more passionate and hungry to prove you can do it? My challenge to you is to follow your dreams with passion and conviction, and no matter what you choose to do, be the very best at it. And never, ever quit. Congratulations.
You are my friend. Let's stick together. Friends till the end. We always will be. It started out in kindergarten when we walked One day I lost my pencil, and you gave me yours. I'll never forget when this feeling was new. When you first said you liked me, well, I liked you too. 'Cause you are my friend. Let's stick together, friends till the end. We always will be. We shared our fears in junior high. We talked about romance. We stood around and ate the food when we were scared to dance. Our first attempt at basketball made everybody laugh. But through it all, a bond was formed, a bond that's meant to last. 'Cause you are my friend. Let's stick together, friends till the end. We always will be. High school was the best, and high school was the worst. We learned that even when we try, we don't always come in first. There are teachers that we've loved, and some that weren't the best. And some friends disappoint us, but you're not like the rest. 'Cause you are my friend. Let's stick together, friends till the end. We always will be. Now it's time to go. We need to find our way. Adventure awaits us all. That's what they always say. I wish for you, my friend, the best life has to give. And in my life I know it's true, a part of you will live. 'Cause you are my friend. Let's stick together, friends till the end. We always will be. And love has brought us together, and love will hold us together, and love will keep us together through it all. And love will bring us together, and love will hold us together, and love will keep us together through it all. Lost endings, new beginnings. I thank God for my friends.
Thank you, Mr. Langholtz. Today's first honored speaker is Riley Cooney. Riley is the daughter of Shane and Kelly Cooney. She was involved in student council, NHS, track, cross country, Model UN, band, and was a charter member of the FFA. She was a Sunday school teacher at Zion Lutheran Church. Riley plans on attending the University of Iowa on the pre-law track with a major in business. Please welcome to the stage Riley Cooney.
In track and field, there's a race called the 400 low hurdles. For those of you who didn't have the pleasure of running track, the 400 lows is the hurdle race everyone hates the most. 400 meters, which is a sprint all the way around the track, is already one of the most difficult races. But with hurdles every 40 meters, it gets even more complicated. Running toward 2020, our senior year, and our much anticipated graduation, it feels like we hit a hurdle about every 40 days. So it seems fitting that our class be compared to the exhausting 400-meter 10-hurdle race. In my track days, I had the opportunity to watch many of these races. And it seemed every time, just when the runner thought they had made it, and they had a clear shot to the finish line, they tripped on the last hurdle. For the class of 2020, that is our graduation. Just when we thought we were closing in on the best part of the race, the coronavirus hit us right in the shin and derailed our plans of a smooth finish. So in the spirit of our grade's difficult path to this moment, I want to be the first to congratulate you all. You've reached the finish line and can take a breather. Looking back to 6th grade, we should have known our grade wasn't going to have it easy. Like, how can you cancel a trip to Adventureland and replace it with an ethanol plant and landfill tour? That just wasn't fair. Time and time again, unfortunate circumstances bombarded our class. Like when the grade above us TP'd the school so badly that they got the formal homecoming dance taken away from all of us. Or when we were no longer to opt out of semester tests for whatever reason. Or when prom was on a Sunday morning. I mean, we just couldn't catch a break. And this didn't stop when our senior year rolled around. This year was meant to be the best year of our lives, and instead we faced obstacle after obstacle, hurdle after hurdle. It all started when we had to start school on a Friday. Who starts school on a Friday? Okay, that might not have been a hard one to get past, and we soon learned just how insignificant it was, as the next hurdle has been much more difficult to get up from. Going into this year, I had hopes of speaking at graduation today as my first public speech. Unfortunately, I had that experience early when I spoke to y'all at our classmate's funeral. Even though Alex joined our class late, he was still an essential part of our team. Alex quickly became a friend that no matter what kind of problem you were having, no matter what time of day, and no matter what he had going on in his own life, he would be there for you. When we lost Alex, it was a challenge unlike any other to keep from just disqualifying. I, like many of you, just wanted to quit the race. To give up on graduation, to give up on growing myself, and to not have to jump any more hurdles. As we're completing this year on rocky terms, it makes it more painful to think that we finished without a classmate, a teammate, a friend. However, limping to the finish line down a man, we have adapted to our new changed life. We persevered through one of the most difficult experiences we will ever face, and instead of being defeated, we have risen up and grown stronger together. The coronavirus, as our latest challenge to overcome, didn't shake our confidence as we knew we were past the hardest part of the race. Setback after setback, we have leaned on each other, carried each other, and worked together to get over the hurdles. As we close in on the end of our high school era, it is clear that the skill of teamwork supersedes anything that we learned in the classroom. From the day we entered high school, we were told countless times that we were special. We didn't understand or didn't believe this. We just thought the teachers were trying to motivate us, and maybe they were. But after every day of hearing Mr. Kokler ask, "Have I ever told you guys how amazing you are?" it clicked. There is something about our class that is different. Through all of our challenges and how we've responded, it's clear that our class is special. We're a team. We have a unique bond where we can put our differences aside and support each other through the tough times. We can look at the big picture and see that the most important thing is getting through this together and learning along the way. So I want to thank every one of you for being on this team, the class of 2020. And to our teachers, as our coaches through high school and our heartbreaks, we wouldn't have had the strength to continue on if you hadn't supported us. Thank you. As a class, I know we'd wished for closure, the final senior moments. Each and every senior in here today lost something very special that we were meant to complete together. We lost our year. While we are disappointed, that shouldn't overshadow our accomplishments. I'm proud of our class, and am thankful to always have the class of 2020 to lean on. Today marks the first of many finish lines we all stride towards in our futures. For now, the hurdles have all been crossed, but if we have learned anything, it's that life will continue to present us with more hurdles. I'm confident that Clear Lake High School has prepared us for them. We are prepared to learn, to grow, to adapt, to persevere, and to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Riley. Today's second honored speaker is Jackson Logie. Jackson is the son of John and Melinda Logie. He earned all district honors in football. He was also involved in basketball, tennis, student council, NHS, and Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Jackson plans on attending the University of Iowa on a pre-medicine track with the intended major or biology major. And it's also his birthday. So happy birthday. Please welcome to the stage Jackson Logie.
Good afternoon, fellow graduates, family, and friends. It has been quite a while since I've seen most of you, especially here. I'm not sure anybody planned on leaving for spring break and never coming back, but unfortunately, that's how it turned out. And how fitting for us, the class of 2020. We are no strangers to troubling times or setting the example to follow. We have proven that challenges like these are to be overcome and that our class will always pave the way for ourselves as well as others. When looking back on our time at CLHS, there are two traits that come to my mind: perseverance and excellence. It is without a doubt in my mind that these principles apply to everyone in this gym. The first principle, perseverance, is defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary as the continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, or opposition. And I think we can all agree that we have had our difficulties. Our senior year has been far from perfect. From losing Alex, a dear friend and classmate, to losing our senior year entirely, this past year has sucked. When I first met the skinny boy who was too afraid to play in an 8th grade B-team basketball game, yet courageous enough to draw "Go Riley" on his bare chest, attracting the attention of everyone in the gym, I never would have imagined him being in my speech in this way. Although many of the people in this room are closer to Alex than me, I will always cherish the memories I have of him. One of my most treasured is running the miles side by side in 8th grade track. Only now can I admit to Coach Smith that neither of us truly gave 100% when running that dreadful race. I think we all have our own special memories with Alex, some more than others, and I believe the same can be said about our experiences in school. From Mr. Weber's gym classes to Mr. A's concerts, or field trips to field days. We have all formed our own magnificent memories from our Clear Lake days until now. Clear Creek days, sorry. And in both cases, our time to make memories with our friends and classmates has been cut short. However, we can still choose to hold the memories we have made close to our hearts. There's no secret to our class has overcome both of these events. We've held on to those around us and kept on pushing. We have become masters at that. Supporting each other every step of the way, we have trudged through this wreck of a senior year, and here we are today. Not only has our class learned how to persevere through times like these, but we have paved a path of excellence for others, leaving a strong legacy for the classes behind us to follow. Again, I will refer to the dictionary, which states that excellence is the quality of being excellent, eminently good, or first class. Those last two words have especially resonated with our class, starting in our Clear Creek days. We were the first class to run the Clear Creek Cafe, and the first class to take total control of the lunch posse. But it didn't stop there. In middle school, we were the first class to have Mr. Quickle as our principal for all 3 years. So it's no wonder why we were his favorite. We also became the first 6th grade class to take a field trip to the landfill instead of Adventureland, just so we could see Jay Berge. In high school, too, the trend continued. Last year at the Well, our boys basketball team became the first to win a game at the state tournament in school history. And then this year, the girls basketball team won their first game at the state tournament, and our dance team won the first Triple Crown in CLDT history. Outside of athletics, our class was part of the first ever choir and band programs to earn a Division I score in every group at large group contests. Academically, no class has had more students score higher, a 30 or higher on the ACT. But by far the best accomplishment we have made is becoming the first class to graduate, despite senior skip day lasting about 2 months. This list only covers a small amount of all the achievements and contributions we have made to our school. There are not many schools in Iowa where the expectation is to make the state tournament every year or to have 7 class valedictorians. We truly have an excellent class, one that has left a positive legacy for future classes to live up to. Although I could talk all day about how amazing this group of people is, I was supposed to limit this to a 4-minute time frame, and I feel like I'm probably going to be surpassing that limit here. After this ceremony, we will all have to leave the school for one final time, as we have many times before. We will then, over the coming years, proceed down our own life paths, becoming very different people from who we are today. So, if there's anything we should take away from Clear Lake High School, besides the fondest of memories and the greatest of friendships, it is those principles that this class so highly reflects. After today, and throughout your life, remember this quote: "Excellence is perseverance in the presence of obstacles." Everybody in this class of 2020 has shown that they can persevere through tough times. So the difference that will decide our success in life is the mindset we take. We can choose to let the obstacles overcome us, or, as we have before, we can choose to show our excellence and persevere through any and all obstacles. Thank you, and for one last time, go Lions.
Thanks, Jackson. Today's third honored speaker is Lydia Futrell. Lydia is the daughter of Steve and Alice Futrell. She was a member of All-State Band, Jazz Band, Municipal Band, and was in school plays and musicals. She was active in Speech Club, where she was a 12-time state qualifier, and she was an outstanding delegate for Model UN. Lydia participated in choir, tennis, softball, basketball, volleyball, NHS, Battle of the Books, and student council. She volunteered for Elizabeth Warren's presidential campaign. She was also named a C.P. Davis Scholar. Lydia plans on studying earth and environmental engineering at Columbia University in New York. Please welcome to the stage Lydia Futrell.
I don't know about you guys, but I've always been proud that we were graduating in 2020. I felt that by the time we got to 2020, we would be in the future, like the type of future you see in movies with flying cars or robot butlers. Experts predicted that by 2020, we would have anti-gravity belts, invisible computers, and that life expectancy would exceed 100 years. I remember reading something in middle school about how in the year 2020, microcomputers would be sewn into clothes, so you'd be able to Google answers on tests just by touching your sleeve. 2020 is a marker of how much progress our society has made, and it just so happens to be our year. But instead of microcomputers and anti-gravity belts, we got the worst senior year ever. No one could have predicted that our last day of high school would have been a random Friday in March. And no one could have told us that our graduation ceremony would be happening in the middle of a pandemic. I've been told many times over the last couple months that I'll remember my graduation for the unique circumstances, and that I'll have learned how to adapt and be resilient. And both of those things are probably true. But I also think that our graduation isn't only special because it was postponed by an international crisis. And I don't think that it's responsible for most of our learning. Our class isn't defined by the tragedy we've experienced or the bad hand we've been dealt, though those things have shaped us. I think our class is remarkable because of the relationships we've made, the things we've accomplished, and the potential we have. Most of us have been together since kindergarten, and some even since pre-K. We've seen each other go through awkward phases and get braces, and through it all, we formed a history with each other. There's a quote by Charles Dickens that goes, "Think for a moment of the long chain of iron or gold, of thorns or flowers, that would never have bound you but for the formation of the first link on one memorable day." What this is saying is that each of us has something that ties us to the other people in this room, and that those early days playing tag at recess or going to each other's birthday parties have tied us together. For some, it was the first day walking into Clear Lake Middle School or high school, but it was still the first memorable day that bound you to our class. And every new memory we've made or experience we've shared has strengthened that bond. The chains that bind us to each other are made of school dances, lake laps, and TPing the school. Like Dickens recognizes, sometimes our memories might be embarrassing or sad, and the chain connecting us to some people might not be our favorite. And sometimes that chain is damaged by sorrow or grief. But each of us still has had a fundamental part in creating the people we're graduating beside. But what's even better is that we're not just graduating from CLHS, but we've left our mark. Even coming in as freshmen, we were leaders. We were told by coaches and teachers that we worked hard and made the people around us better. We weren't annoying like most freshmen. We were cool and respectful. We earned varsity spots and first chair placements. Across the board, from the drama department to the football team, our class has achieved. As we moved up the totem pole, our accomplishments only grew. We started on varsity teams and helped lead those teams to state tournaments and conference championships. We got the band and choir Division I ratings, qualified for state speech contests, and our dance team members are literally some of the best in the nation. Not only did we participate in extracurriculars, but we excelled in them. Our class has done things no other class has done before, together and individually, and each of us has chains that lead directly to our friends and classmates, pulling us farther than we ever knew we could go. Our relationships with each other pushed us to put in hours in the weight room or practice rooms, and even when we were doing activities by ourselves, there were friends and classmates behind us offering support. All of us here have been shaped by the people sitting next to us. And no matter where we go or who we meet, we're still graduates of Clear Lake High School. Each of us is the culmination of the experiences we've had here at CLHS. And each of us are defined by the things we've done, not the things that were denied to us. I know it's hard to always believe that we will come out the other side better, especially in the face of tragedy. If anyone can do it, I believe it's us. And you know what else I believe? The only reason we don't have flying cars or anti-gravity belts or any of the other things experts predicted we'd have by now is because our class hasn't had the chance to make them. I believe in our class's talent, ambition, and most importantly, our ability to have fun. Mr. Kokler has told us that we're one of the best groups of kids he's ever encountered, and if Mr. Kokler says it, it must be true. I believe that we are going to go out and make the future that was envisioned a reality, and we are only able to go out and make the future a reality because of the support we've received from parents, teachers, mentors, and each other. We might have had a slow start with our delayed graduation, and we might have had to overcome more than the average class, but what we are most defined by is what we have yet to do. Congratulations, class of 2020. I am very proud of all of us.
Thank you, Lydia. Mr. Chad Coolers, member of the Board of Directors of Clear Lake Community Schools, will now say a few words to the graduates.
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2020, in this moment of pride for you and your loved ones, I bring you a message of hope. You were the class that was born during the school year in which 9/11 occurred. You were a small child during the Great Recession of 2008, and now you are the class that is graduating as the COVID-19 pandemic is impacting the whole world. The other people who experience these types of events in their lifetime are those that were born around 1918, when the Spanish flu was striking America. That generation experienced the Great Depression and finally went off to fight in World War II. These people would be your great-great-grandparents or your great-grandparents. These people became known as the greatest generation. These people received this nickname because of their self-sacrifice, their ability to make do and use it up, fix it up, or do without. While some of your class have already enlisted and joined the armed forces and may not be here today, there is no conscription or draft that is mandating service to your country. The difficult events impacting your lives, and I hope that your class learns and grows because of these events that are impacting you. I hope that your class can exhibit some of the same characteristics that were present in the greatest generation. These included personal responsibility. Members of the greatest generation were brought up on the principles that you reap what you sow and that you don't try to pass the buck. So for you, I hope that you are willing to accept responsibility for your mistakes and learn from them. Civic involvement. Don't spend your time debating one another's political beliefs on social media, which only breeds contempt. Instead of being an internet activist, get involved with your town. Take ownership of your community by joining an organization or participating in activities that benefit your local area. Work ethic. Many people of the greatest generation spent decades working for one company. It was very likely that the first company who hired you would be the company that you retired from. Work trends these days have people working for multiple employers throughout their careers, but the principles remain the same. Hard work pays off. Whether you're holding one position or multiple jobs, always put forth your best effort. Embrace challenge. The greatest generation wasn't the greatest generation despite the challenges they faced, but because of them. Know that you cannot have bitter without sweet, and that true happiness comes from overcoming the kind of challenges that bring character and refine the soul. You will always be the class of 2020. 2020 is often a term used to describe perfect vision. My vision for you is that you will become the next greatest generation. But more important than my vision for you is one that you have for yourself. Where do you see yourselves when you go forward? What is your vision for the future? You have been building the perseverance to do anything you want since you were born. Where do you want to go from here? The power to choose is yours. I hope that you can choose to become the next greatest generation.
Thank you, Mr. Coolers. At this time, we're going to recognize some of our seniors for the accomplishments that they've received. Please hold your applause until everybody has had a chance to have their name read. The 2020 President's Education Award Program. The President's Education Award Program, sponsored by the U.S. Department of Education in partnership with the National Association of Elementary School Principals and the National Association of Secondary School Principals, honors those students who have received a 3.5 GPA and are in the 90th percentile on both reading and math on their Iowa statewide assessment of student progress. Would the following individuals please rise? Kara Brandstad, Riley Cooney, Lydia Futrell, Hunter Kuhlmeyer, and Hunter Nielsen. The 2020 North Central Conference Academic Team. The North Central Conference recognizes students who have received a 3.6 GPA and a score of 26 or higher on the ACT. Would the following individuals please rise? Caitlin Anderson, Kara Brandstad, Riley Cooney, Alexi Fosbender, Lydia Futrell, Abby Jordan, Kennedy Kallenbach, Hunter Kuhlmeyer, Jackson Logie, Julia Murfeld, Hunter Nielsen, Bella Parker, Cabri Schoening, Sky Toyne. The 2020 Academic Excellence Banquet honorees. For the past 22 years, Clear Lake High School has honored students for their high academic achievements. Students who have achieved one or more of the following qualify for this recognition: top 10% in the class, 4.0 cumulative GPA, 4.0 for the last 2 semesters, ACT, PSAT, or pre-ACT score at or above the 93rd percentile, and a National Merit honoree. Will the following individuals please rise? Kara Brandstad, Riley Cooney, Alexa Fosbender, Lydia Futrell, Hunter Kuhlmeyer, Augustine Lowe, Jackson Logie, Julia Murfeld, Hunter Nielsen, Bella Parker, Mitchell Raber, Sky Toyne, and Savannah Williams. These students have been at the Academic Excellence Banquet all 4 years that they were in high school. Kara Brandstad, Riley Cooney, Alexi Fosbender, Lydia Futrell, Julia Murfeld, Hunter Nielsen, Bella Parker, Mitchell Raber, Sky Toyne, and Savannah Williams. Donors of distinction. Students have donated blood 3 or more times before they graduate have been recognized as donors of distinction by LifeServe Blood Center. These students are wearing red cords today to represent this achievement. Will the following students please stand? Anthony Aragon, Grace Beard, Kennedy Colbert, Ashlyn Cooper, Taylor Kroll, Austin Larson, Noah Mason, Julia Murfeld, Connor O'Toole, Stephanie Penning, Amanda Setterholm, Isaiah Smith, Jessica Theobald, Rachel Thornton, and Courtney Verhalen. We would also like to recognize the students that will be serving in the armed forces. Zach Perkins. Zach is not with us today because he had to report to basic training last week in South Carolina. Max Soto. Mr. G, Ms. Birdvig, and members of the Board of Education. The class of 2020 has fulfilled their requirements set forth by the State Department of Education and the Board of Directors of Clear Lake Community School District. They are eligible to receive their diplomas.
Clayton Daniel Alley. Caitlin Ann Anderson. Zane Isaac Anderson. Anthony Daniel Aragon. Brecken Marcus Arndt. Jackson Paul Barragy. Grace Nagahama Beard. Alyssa Ivy Bowling. Kara Lynn Jin Brandstad. Michael Dean Bryant. Ashton Ray Chapin. Rebecca Ann Christensen. Kennedy K. Colbert. Grace Marie Coleman. Amber Sky Kalunga. Riley Marie Cooney. Ashlyn Marie Cooper. Cale Braden Crispin. Nicholas Charles Danielson. Jalen Isaiah DeVries. Courtney Noel Dawn. Cameron Taylor Dugan. Tyler Alexander Eaton. Ashton Rafe Eckenrod. Sarah Ann Faber. Alexi Ann Fossbender. Lydia Claire Futrell. Canon David Goman. Gabriela Jo Gonzalez. Jordan Marie Goff. Javon Floyd Haley. Logan Christopher Hesley. Dallas Jewel Hinnenkamp. Abby Marie Jordan. Kennedy Rain Collenbach. Michaela Jean Kane. Cody Anderson Kearns. Cadence Elizabeth Ann King. Dylan Andrew Krukenberg. Taylor May Crow. Brody Allen Kuhlmeyer. Hunter James Kuhlmeyer. Anthony Edward Coolers. Austin David Larson. Olivia Rebecca Larson. Cameron Trey Lievenhagen. Augustine Lowe. Nathan Lowe. Jackson Reed Logie. Noah James Mason. Bryce Taylor McClurg. Eric Zachary McHenry. Madeline Kimberly McKenna. Kelsey Marie McKibben. Julia Shannon Murfeld. Kyra Ann Miller. Jacob Matthew Munson. Connor John Morey. Rebecca Catherine Munson. Hunter Thomas Nielsen. Chloe Addison O'Hare. Connor Frank O'Toole. Bryce Scott Oliver. Catherine Carly Palmer. Bella Ray Parker. Jacob Ryan Peddlety. Stephanie Ray Penning. Zachary Michael Perkins. Samuel Lee Perry. Madeline Joe Petersburg. Mitchell Robert Raber. Franklin Howard Rideout. Shaylin Joy Rosen. Ethan John Russell. Joseph Michael Sparrow. Nathan Robert Schiltz. Cabri Michaela Schoening. Amanda Ray Setterholm. Isaiah Anthony Smith. Tanner Douglas Smith. Maximus Jason Soto. Malia Irene Angel Taggy. Josiah David Thies. Jessica Jean Theobald. Ryan Wesley Thomas. Rachel Elizabeth Thornton. Chloe Sky Toyne. Courtney Alexis Verhalen. Joseph William Ward. Alexa Taylor Whitehouse. Savannah Jane Williams.
Congratulations, graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2020.